You're ready? You really
A
are?
roasted peanuts
I got
guy.
a roasted peanuts.
The defense could use a little bit of improvement, too.
See this afro? We brought this afro out for a reason.
Is it the planners, man?
Oh, Lord help him.
I'll tell you something about public schools.
Now, tomorrow we'll be talking about the Detroit Lions.
There were penises in my math book.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Qwan Young, and welcome to the Qwan Show.
What's going on, everybody? Qwan Young here, back in the Bets TV studio in sunny Southern California. The weather is great. It's Super Bowl Sunday. I am super psyched because this is a day that I've been waiting for just this season. I'm a newly acquired Rams fan, but my boy, this guy, the guy I told you guys all about all year. You've heard me run my mouth about Matthew Stafford for at least the last 9 months. The day is here. Today is the day that Stafford wins the Super Bowl. I'm telling you. I don't want to guarantee it, but I will. I've made some proclamations. I've said some things. I'm saying some things on this show. It's going to be a great day if you're a Matthew Stafford fan. I got a couple of bets that I'm going to show you. Let's get into the show. First of all, let's talk about where have I been? I have been hibernating. It's been a long road to get to this point, at least. I've been working on my thesis film for the last about 2.5 months. I've been beat to hell and back. But I'm finally on the cusp. It's almost there. I'm going to have something very soon. I hope you guys all support me. Hope you guys all tune in. If you get lucky, you may see a little teaser at the end of this show. I got something special planned for the end of this show. If you're a fan of Qwan Young or if you've been on this channel before, there's some things that I've done that really excited you. So stay tuned to the end of the show, or, I'm recording this because at this point in the day, I'm probably 75 sheets to the wind. There's going to be some whiskey involved. I have to cheer for the Rams, so I have to do it in a non-sober capacity. So right now, like and subscribe to this video, to this channel. There are going to be some things you're going to be seeing a lot more of me, but make sure you like this video. The more likes you get, the more people see this, and the more I can do this stuff. So make sure you like this. If we get, let's see, what's the challenge? If this show gets to 50 likes, I will give out a random gift card, or I'll cash app you $50 because I plan on making some money today. We're throwing out some bets. We're doing some things. This is going to be a beautiful and bountiful Sunday. Now, if you follow me on social media, I'm on the Optimal now with Kyle Murray. Me and Kyle Murray, great bettor, great sharp. He does a lot at FTN. We did our big game preview last Monday. Here's a couple of clips from the Optimal.
Me and Qwan have been talking about this for like the last week, where it does feel like both of these teams have ran into the problem where they've been able to, drive the ball down the field, but not necessarily finish out a ton of drives consistently. We saw it last week with the Rams, where they put up all the yards that they really could ask for against the 49ers, only walked away with 20 points. And then 2 weeks ago for the Bengals, when they had Joe Burrow had over 350 passing yards, and they only scored 16 points, and they only scored 1 touchdown against the Titans. So that's been kind of an apparent theme there for both teams, really, at least in a couple of games throughout the playoffs and even towards the end of the regular season. So that's kind of how I feel about it. I would lean the under, but it wouldn't be something I would bet just because, A, I don't like to bet unders, and B, I don't think it's enough of a lean to really feel like that is the bet for me. I do like Cincinnati plus 4.5. I just think that this game is bound to be close. I do think the Rams win this one, but plus 4.5 is a pretty good number here for the Bengals, who have played every single team that they've played this season close, or sorry, in the postseason. But even the Rams, like, they haven't necessarily ran away with a ton of games either. Yeah. So even in that game against the Buccaneers, They did run away with it, but they allowed the Bucs to catch up
Come
and
back,
obviously played
yeah.
that game close. So both these teams have been in a ton of close games, and obviously that's been kind of the theme for every single playoff game where we've had at least 5 or 6 games end in walk-offs, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that again here in the Super Bowl. So I'm going to take Bengals plus 4.5, and I guess I would say my lean would be the under on the 48.5 or 49, but not going to be something that I bet just yet.
Now, we did our big game preview last Monday, and Kyle gave away a lot of his picks. I was a little more reserved with what I wanted to do because I kind of figured I would come on my own show and do this. The Qwan Show has been dormant for a while, but the goal, the plan, is to bring back the Qwan Show on this channel daily. I'm going to find a way to give you content daily through hell or high water. I've learned a lot in my first year of betting, but I'm going to be back on this YouTube channel doing a lot of things. I'm really excited because the thesis film is out the way, and now I have to resume my normal routine. So I was also on 5 Points Vids, his Super Bowl show last Tuesday, gave out my pick for the Super Bowl. 28-17 is what I've been saying. I'm going to stick with it. Although I did make a bet. I might tweak that a little bit. I made a bet for the final score. A lot of money on the line in that capacity. So if you see a different score, I'm gonna see if I can change it a little bit. But the Qwan Show is returning in some capacity, so I need you guys subscribe. I'm gonna be making content daily. I'm back in the creative mood. I'm up out my funk. We're moving. So I need all the support I can get, but you can still find me on the Optimal on FTN Daily. Check out FTN's YouTube. Follow me on Twitter. We go live every day at around 11 Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Follow me, watch the show there. Give out great NBA tips. We're gonna be talking the Super Bowl on Monday. NBA Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then golf on Wednesday. I'm getting to the links. I need to round out everything that I'm doing in sports betting. So I'm gonna by the next year, I'm gonna be hitting some big plays. That's the hope, at least. Working with Kyle, I think I'll have a good opportunity to do that. So I took calls this week. There were a lot of you who called in. So throughout the show, I'm gonna run some fan picks. Up first, I got to go with the longest one. Shane from Chicago called in. He gave in a couple of his prop bets, a couple of the plays that he likes in this game. So we're going to break that up into a couple of pieces. But right now, Shane from Chicago, what you got?
All right, here are my prop plays. This is as of Friday night. I will probably be adding more before Sunday, but alas, here we go. So the very first one, and I like this one quite a bit, Sean McVay to lose a challenge, yes. Minus 110, I believe. Yeah, minus 110. Look, Sean McVay, I've given him credit for a long time. He's a great game planner. He's got a good scheme. He's a good offensive mind. I'll give him that. But he does some really, really stupid in-game stuff. And in a game of obviously this magnitude, the Super Bowl, I don't doubt at all that the situation is going to arise where he's going to throw a bad challenge flag and he's going to lose it. So I like that bet quite a bit. Let's see what else I bet. My actual favorite bet on the entire board is Cam Akers rushing yards under 68.5. Now, if depending on where you look right now, it's like 64.5 or 65. I would still play it there. I'd play it all the way down to like 62. I don't see Cam Akers being much of their game plan at all. You got Darrell Henderson coming back. I think they're going to give I think Sony Michel will probably lead the team in carries, but Cam Akers, it's a great story and everything. I give the guy a ton of credit. It's like a medical miracle, but let's be honest. Since he's come back, he hasn't looked good. He had a terrible fumble that almost cost them against Tampa. And I cannot get to 68.5 here. I think, a lot of first of all, I think Stafford's going to throw the ball a lot. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But their offense, it's either going to be Sony Michel runs or just Stafford passes. Like I even like Henderson. I think I could see Darrell Henderson out carrying Akers. I just cannot. He's going to need, in order to get 69 yards, he's going to need to break off multiple big runs because I just don't think that the carries are going to be there. So I think for me personally, like that's my favorite play of the entire board. I got it at 68.5. It's like 64, 65 now. I would still play it there. So that's my favorite. I took Matthew Stafford over 2.5 touchdown passes at plus 140. Again, this plays to my feel of Cincinnati's secondary is not good. What happened to Patrick Mahomes in the second half is one of the most mind-boggling things I've seen watching football in a long time. I still can't believe how they just completely just tanked that entire second half. I think Stafford is going to have a big game. And I know that, people are always down on Stafford. He's always capable of throwing a bad pick and making mistakes. But, over 2.5 touchdowns at plus 140 for a team that I don't think that running is going to be a big part of the Rams' game plan. I think they're really going to just exploit what's a pretty weak Bengals secondary. And, you're giving me over 2.5 when you got guys like Odell Beckham and Cooper Kupp and Van Jefferson that can break it deep. Like, yeah, I'll take the plus 140. I think that's a strong bet. And then I'm going to go with my second favorite bet of the entire Super Bowl. Van Jefferson, longest reception, over 18.5 yards. Look, again, I'm a broken record here, but I am not a fan of this Bengals secondary, and I think, their defensive game plan is going to, even though teams do this and it doesn't work, is going to have to just be attempting to stop Cooper Kupp. And, with the emergence of Odell Beckham in the offense now too, like you got a guy like Van Jefferson, I think he's going to be able to break one deep. And even for 20 something yards up the middle, something like that. So you're giving me 18.5 for his longest reception. I'll take that all day. I'm on that. So there's what I got on the Rams side.
We're back on the Qwan Show. You're back with me. Shane doesn't see it any other way. He thinks Rams all the way. He's been talking about it all week. He said there's no way that the Bengals pull this off. And I think there's a sliver of hope. I've changed my tune a few times throughout this week because these are both professional teams. I think the Rams they've been known to not finish in games, which is what we're going to get to here on the scouting report. Now the scouting report, this is powered by FTN Daily, FTN Fantasy, FTN Bets. FTN has all the stats that you need to where I become a better. I like that. That's good. I'm trying to become a better, and I want you to be a better. So, FTN Diamond, all of those packages that they have there, FTN gives a lot of free content away. So make sure you go there, log in, buy a package, man. You have to invest in yourself. If you want to do this for fun, that's fine. But if you want to make some serious money, you got to tell guys like Chris Meaney, Magic Sports Guy, Kevin Adams, Matthew Freeman, those guys, they know what they're talking about. So for Super Bowl 56, Rams versus Bengals, we're talking the scouting report. Bengals give up 26.6 points per game, or score 26.6 points per game. They're 8th in the NFL. The Rams, 27.2 points per game. They're 6th in the NFL. So I know a lot of people are looking at the total and saying 48, it doesn't look like it's going to go under. These teams can score points. It hasn't looked that way in the playoffs. They've been playing a lot tighter. I like it. Points allowed per game. Cincinnati, 21.8. They're 13th. They're 13th in the NFL. The Rams, 21.4. They're 10th in the NFL. By 0.4 points separates these teams. So, a little bit of defense, a little bit of offense. Bengals run 61.9 plays per game. That's 22nd best in the NFL. The Rams, 63.1. 16th best in the NFL. Yards per drive. Bengals, 17th. Rams, 4th. Points per drive. The Rams are 4th in the NFL. Bengals are 12th. Separated by 0.28. 7th and 8th in defensive points per drive. And, I mean, these are two really close teams. I don't think it seemed that way from the way that I've been reading the NFL and all of the talk. I've seen a lot of Rams blowout, and I've been on board with that. But I think this game, there's an opportunity for this game to be closer than everybody thinks. Now, the opening lines, we're going to teach you a little about betting 101. If you're new here, if you're new to betting, I got a video for you that will basically break down what's going on. But the opening odds for Super Bowl 56, it opened the Rams at -3.5. Money line open at Cincinnati +170. Total opened at 49.5. So it's moved a little bit, a very little bit. And that seems strange to me. Normally you see a lot of lines move throughout the week, but nothing's really moved too big. Current odds, as you can see, last time I checked, you might want to check the odds as of this showing. Rams were -198. Bengals were +168. Make sure you're shopping around for the best numbers. You can probably find something. You can buy some points. We had one caller. We actually had a woman call into the show. So I know my viewership sometimes is about 90% male. I'm pretty handsome, so I don't know what the deal is, but 90% male, 10% female. So we had a woman call into the show, give a bet. She thinks that it's going to be a blowout. So we're going to run that. The implied team totals, Bengals 22.5, Rams 26.5. If you think that it's going under, or over, make sure you look at the team totals. You may want to bet Rams. I mean, you can't really score 26, and we're talking 27 right there. So if you think, what's that? 2 field goals, three touchdowns, 2 field goals. You think that's what it's going to be? Bet that over. If you think, it's more of a defensive battle, bet that under. LA, they went over this number in 12 of 20 of their games. So that's about a 60 something. I'm not good at math. I'm not even going to try it. Make sure that you're shopping around, looking for the best numbers. FTN Daily, they have a prop shop. You can find all these things. Sports books. Look for sports books that are giving away free picks. There are a bunch of free plays out there. It's a big game. There's a lot going on. Make sure you find the best sports books. Prize Picks, they match up to 100% of a $100 deposit. So, make sure you're shopping around for these things. But the scouting report. Now, these are just, I've been watching the games and, just trying to get a feel for the game. I think in the Super Bowl, there are going to be teams that I think both teams are going to try to feel each other out. These teams haven't played since 2019. They had a couple of common opponents this year, the 49ers, the Packers. I think the Titans, the Bengals played the Titans in the playoffs, and the Rams got smoked by the Titans in the regular season. So, you try to find ways and seeing how McVay and Taylor are going to scheme each other up. But in the scouting report, there are a couple of things that I think these coaches should focus on. Has to deal with stopping the other team's best player, obviously. For the Bengals, sack lunch. Can the Bengals OLine hold up? We talked about it all, playoffs, how the Titans, 9 sacks in that game. Burrow's been under the pressure. it was the talk of all season. Last year, Joe Burrow, comeback player of the year, he tore his ACL. The Bengals offensive line woes, they haven't seemed to matter because they made it all the way to the Super Bowl. But can this Bengals O-line hold up against the likes of Von Miller, against the likes of Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, and Gaines he's come along for the Rams as well. So can the Bengals O-line hold up? Ramsey versus Chase. I think Tony Romo, he loves the chases on the case bit from Paw Patrol. I like it too, but how much of Jalen Ramsey on Jamar Chase will we see? I don't think Jalen Ramsey has been performing at the highest level, but I don't think he's been bad either. He gave up that big play to Mike Evans to get the Buccaneers back in the game in the divisional round. He's been good. He hasn't been elite Jalen Ramsey. He's been good Jalen Ramsey. So he moves around a lot. How will Jalen Ramsey defend and Raheem Morris defend Jamar Chase in this game? I've seen a lot of people talking about T. Higgins being the guy that is going to move the ball down the field for the Bengals. And, I like a lot of the T. Higgins props. If you want to talk about, just being somebody, he's going to run a lot of underneath routes and, see what he can get playing off of Chase. But I think that the Rams are going to try to stop Jamar Chase, which is the obvious thing. But they have weapons. The Bengals have weapons. And this game is all going to fall on the shoulders of Joe Burrow. If you want the Bengals to win, if you think the Bengals will win, bet Joe Burrow MVP. It won't be anybody else. It won't be Mixon. It won't be unless Chase has like 303 touchdowns and something like that. I think that's the only way you're seeing a Jamar Chase MVP. But this all falls on the shoulders of Joe Burrow. And I don't think the Bengals or their fans, who they, would have it any other way. As for the Rams, the scouting report. The cup runneth over. Can Cooper Kupp take over? I think the Bengals did a good job in the second half of that Chiefs game. They dropped 8 a lot. One of the callers, I think it was, I forgot who it was, but you're going to see, they bring up the fact that against the Titans, the Bengals, they were in the bare front. They had 6 down linemen, and they committed to stopping the run. In the Chiefs game, they were rushing 3 and getting pressure on Mahomes, and Mahomes was running around doing all that dancing, and the back 8 covered. That's all you can ask for. So how will the Bengals defend Cooper Kupp? And can Cooper Kupp take over? I've seen a lot of people talking about, Kupp for MVP. I don't think it will get to that point because the MVP it's a quarterback award at this point in the NFL. And a lot of the projections that we're seeing Stafford's probably going to throw 38 to 40 to like high 30s, low 40s in attempts, which that's going to lead to Kupp getting his. I think Odell Beckham's going to get his. Michelle out the backfield, Akers out the backfield. I see a lot of if he's throwing 38 to 40 times, it's not good. I don't think it's gonna be Cooper Kupp unless he, once again, big game by a wide receiver. But typically the MVP is a quarterback award. I think it's gonna take a lot. You see a couple of Stafford turnovers, then absolutely Cooper Kupp's gonna be MVP or Odell. Which leads to my next point: staph infection. Can Matthew Stafford protect the ball? Now, I've been seeing some Bears fans talk about Matthew Stafford being bad. But how would a Bears fan know what a good quarterback looks like? They've never had one. Now you can point out the fact that Mitchell Trubisky beat the Lions five out of 6 times. I'll give you that. But that was a Matt Patricia-led defense. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But in this playoff run, Matthew Stafford, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. There was a dropped interception in the 49ers game, but that's why DBs aren't wide receivers. I've heard that my entire life, so now I get to make that joke. Can he protect the ball? If they're rushing, if the Bengals commit to rushing 3, he's going to have all day. He hasn't been forcing the ball. He hasn't been sailing the ball high. He hasn't been missing as much as he did in a regular season. He was tied for the interception leader, I think, at 17. You saw him when Odell Beckham Jr. first was traded to the Rams. You saw him try to force the ball to Odell in situations where he's double covered. I think he's stopped doing that, and they have developed the chemistry that's pretty good. So, will Stafford protect the ball? I still think you'll get 1 interception out of him. He may try to do too much. So, if you see an interception prop out there, I would absolutely take it. He's only thrown 1 interception, though, and I think that was the 49ers game. Listen, my man has been balling. You can talk all the stuff you want, but in the Arizona game, short fields, took care of the ball, 2 touchdowns, 200 yards, boom. Buccaneers game, everything crumbled around them. The Rams did all they could to give that game away, except for Stafford. I mean, he kind of fumbled on that last drive, but they did everything they could to give that game away. He took a step back, 5-step drop, tossed it up to Cooper Kupp, boom. On to the conference championship. Conference championship, he had that interception where he kind of forced it into Cooper Kupp, and then the dropped interception from Tart, which, thank you for, I don't know who paid you off to do that, but thank you. So how will he come out? I say if he comes out on fire early, if McVay can scheme him up a first drive of 5 for 5 or 6 for 6 or 5 for 6 where he's completing some curls, some out routes, the middle is going to be wide open. I don't think Eli Apple and Awuzie are going to be able to keep up with Odell and Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp's going to move around. There are going to be a lot of corner routes completed, a lot of digs completed. Cooper Kupp's yards after catch. Yeah, I saw a prop out there for longest Cooper Kupp reception, over 29.5. Boom, take it. I think it's going to be a good game. Matthew Stafford's passing yards prop is, last I checked, about 272. Take the over. I wasn't on it earlier because I thought there would be a lot of short fields. I'm gonna dial that back. The Bengals are a team. I can't expect them to go out there and just get shut out completely. And final point. Finish. How will Sean McVay coach? He tends to get conservative. He makes some bonehead decisions sometimes. He's a great offensive mind, but sometimes he tries to will it or force it to happen too much. So how will conservative McVay show up, and how will he play call with the lead? Those are my main concerns. Tyler Higbee's out. He's on IR. Joe Noteboom, the backup. I think he's done a fantastic job filling in for Whitworth. But I think they put him on IR, so he's out. Neither of these guys will play in the Super Bowl. Kendall Blanton came in the 49ers game and did a great job. This is it. That's the scouting report. I think we're going to see the Rams attack the secondary a lot. I think everybody's anticipating a lot of passes, but Cincinnati's run defense, man, they had to commit 6 to the run against the Titans. And who I forgot the backup's name. But Foreman. I think Foreman broke a couple of big runs when, they didn't expect Derrick Henry in the game and Derrick Henry to run. So I think with Darrell Henderson's going to be back, Cam Akers is going to be, and I think Michelle's going to get a lot of the carries. I think that's enough to get them to run the ball, And the commitment that Cincinnati makes to their ideology or their game script, it's going to be heavy. Like if you're considering the Rams as a passing team and they come out and play them like they did Kansas City and drop 8, what's to say you don't go 11 personnel, you line Sony Michel up out wide and you bring them in and you run some zone reads, or you run some counters, and so, like, there are a lot of things that McVay can do to move the ball, and I think he's going to effectively game plan this. It's just, how conservative will he be? So that's the scouting report that was powered by FTN Stats and Data and, my football knowledge itself. So we're going to go to another fan pick. Let's get through a few fan picks. We got my man, we're going to go through some last word cheetah guys here. We got Carlos from DC. My man Carlos. He came through for me. We got Patrick from St. Louis. And we got Jamie from Atlanta. They're going to give their picks, and then we're going to talk about some betting tips. So you'll get Carlos from DC, Patrick from St. Louis, Jamie from Atlanta, and then some Betting 101 brought to you by FTN Bets.
I have McPherson over 1.5 field goals. I like that. I think Cincinnati gets bogged down in the red zone. I think their defense is going to hold them. So McPherson can at least get 2 field goals. I like that prop. I heard Preston's thing on Spotify with, I forgot the name of the group he was with, and his pick for under Jamar Chase. We're going to wait till closer to kickoff for that, to put that prop in under Jamar Chase receiving yards, just because I feel like the public is going to raise that number up, or the books will raise it up because the public's pounding it over. I look to get it under. And I also like no touchback on the kickoff. Been listening to a lot of podcasts and stuff. They say that the kickoff ball is hard as a rock, and that it's not like one of those balls where the kicker gets to like mess with it at all. And I think that they also said that the ball is immediately taken to the Hall of Fame. But I think I heard Pat McAfee say something like that about the ball itself. The first kickoff ball is hard as a rock, and I think there will be a kickoff return, the first kickoff. And if I were going novelty bets, I would go bet tails never fails.
Yeah, you know what? This is a hard game to play just the straight up side on. I favor the Rams in this game, but I'm not sure if the Rams would cover this number. So luckily with the Super Bowl, there's about 3 million different ways to approach this game, and props is a really good way to do it. So I've kind of molded my game narrative around the props. I think it's going to be a slow starting game, as a lot of these Super Bowls are. There's a lot of pomp and circumstance around the game. Teams are out of their normal flow, normal pregame routine. So one prop that I always play as soon as it's dropped is second half higher scoring than the first half. And inevitably, I don't know why the books do this. They always open it up basically even on each side. And then over the next 2 weeks, the second half gets steam. I think right now it's about maybe 140 or so. I haven't checked in a couple of days, but I got it at minus 110 like the day of. I also played the first half under 24.5 right when it dropped as well. And along with that, I have other props like, let's just go through the list here. I think one that I really liked that I got at Caesars was a sack to happen before a touchdown. Again, I think that, which has been well documented, everybody's talked about it all week, this Bengals offensive line is one of the worst in the league. And when you match that up against the Rams defensive line, they're going to be pressuring Burrow all day. They give up 9 sacks to the Titans, and I don't know if the Rams are going to get 9 sacks against them, but they're going to be after him. And going along with my slow scoring first half, I think it's very likely a sack will happen before a touchdown. I got this at minus one, pretty good price.
I think the touchdowns in the game are 5.5. They were lined at 5.5, which is the same as the sacks, I think, which is also 5.5. Although the sacks, I think, are a little bit juiced. But because of the slow start, I think you're going to see that sack hit before a touchdown. And kind of going along with the whole narrative of the poor Bengals offensive line, I really like Mixon over reception props at 3.5. I like Pirine reception yards over 8.5 as well. He was out there on third down quite a bit during the Chiefs game, and they deployed him successfully. And with this Rams pass rush, I think Burrow's going to have to get the ball out quickly, and I think he's going to use Pirine on third down and Mixon primarily on the first 2 downs to get that ball out, especially with Ramsey covering Chase in the secondary, probably for the most part. So that's kind of how I'm shaping this game. Like I said, slow starting, probably overall slow or low scoring. I think the Rams will win this game eventually, or the Rams will win this game. Maybe close, but I think they're going to be able to control the clock. And that goes along with, I think I also have some for highest time of possession as well. I found that at one book. So that's how I've sculpted my prop plays. So if it's high scoring out of the gate, Patrick's going to have a really bad Super Bowl Sunday. So
not a huge Super Bowl bettor. Haven't broken down a ton of props or anything, but I'm just going to go Bengals money line. I'm not betting against Joey B. I'm an Ohio State guy. We claimed him even when he was at LSU. And I'm going to keep claiming him. He's repping the state of Ohio. LeBron James came back home and won a championship. Joey B is going to come back home and win a championship. So that's my Super Bowl lock. But in reality, I'll be betting a bunch of basketball, college basketball on Super Bowl Sunday. Everyone sleeps on the kids. Wow. Everyone's watching the big game, can get some softer lines over there. So anybody in the Discord looking for some college basketball, I'll just go ahead and drop my whole card in there. Probably do it Saturday night, Sunday morning. So be on the lookout for that. Qwan, keep up the good work. We don't need Preston out here. We got Qwan running the whole thing. And we're set. Last word, cheetah, minus the cheetah. So, all right, that's all I got, Qwan.
What are NFL odds? Now, NFL odds are a predetermined betting value created and generated for a respective game or outcome. Odds makers manufacture these betting odds based on many factors such as strength of teams, location, injuries, recent performance, and even weather. There are many facets of an NFL game you can bet on, like which side will win, how many points a team will win by, and how many points each team will combine to score. It's up to you as the bettor to find the right side. Now, the key to understanding NFL odds is recognizing what each of the numbers means alongside each team. Now, the odds listed on this example are for a point spread for the opening game of the 2021 NFL season involving the Dallas Cowboys and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As you can see, sportsbooks had the Buccaneers as 6.5-point favorites versus the Cowboys as a 6.5-point underdog. Now, to understand what those numbers mean, you first need to understand the symbol in front of each figure. If a team has a number with a minus sign in front of it, this means that the respective team needs to win the game by that many points to win their side of the bet. If you backed Tampa Bay in the opening game, you would have lost your wager. On the flip side, if a team has a plus sign in front of it, that means the team needs to either win the game or not lose by more than 6 points. If you bet on the Cowboys as plus 6.5 dogs, you would have won your wager. Even the most novice of NFL bettors can likely understand the concept of betting on a money line and the odds attached to it. For a money line bet, this is when you choose which side will win the game with no preset or determined amount of points to win by. From this example, we can see that the Buccaneers are home favorites with money line odds of minus 295, while the Cowboys come back as plus 235 underdogs. These numbers are considered American odds, with $100 being the key reference. So, if you placed a bet on the Buccaneers to win the game, you would need to wager $295 just to win $100 in profit. It's a bit of a steep price, but if you felt like they were a lock, that's all that matters. Now, if you felt the Cowboys would have went into Raymond James Stadium and won the game outright as an underdog, a lot of profit can be made. If you wagered $100 on the Cowboys to win at plus 235 and they pulled off the upset, you'd see a return of $335. Your $100 bet is returned and you get $235 in profit. However, with plus 235 odds, this has an implied probability of 29.9%. So Dallas winning the game would be a huge long shot. NFL totals are a number set by sportsbooks that estimate how many combined points will be scored for the duration of the game. Bettors will predict if the teams will go over or under the set amount, or the total. Now, continuing to use the Cowboys-Buccaneers game as our example, odds makers set the betting line for the total between those two teams at 52.5 combined points. Now, as the bettor, you need to determine whether these teams will surpass and score 53 points or more, or if they'll fall short and score 52 or less. Now, bettors tend to gravitate to betting totals for NFL games when the spread is very tight or the game is a toss-up as to which side will win. That's why it's imperative for bettors to do their research before betting a total, as many factors can impact the game, and whether it's a slog or a shootout, variables that bettors need to consider are style of play, key injuries, recent performance, and most importantly, weather. Nothing impacts an NFL game more than the elements. And if it's a rainy day in Seattle at CenturyLink Field or the frozen tundra of Lambeau, this could hinder a great offense in scoring lots of points. NFL props or propositions are the latest craze in sports betting, as they're considered a game within a game and don't necessarily impact the final result. There are literally hundreds of NFL props for any given game, and you can find NFL betting odds for nearly any market. These include, but aren't limited to, how many yards a quarterback will pass for, if there will be a safety in the game, or even if a certain player will score a touchdown. Similar to totals, bettors can bet on these props with an over or under option. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg for NFL prop odds, and we recommend to check out the prop shop with FTN Bets to see all the different markets available for key players in the NFL. Once you start betting, you'll no doubt hear about what's called a parlay bet. Now, when you place a parlay, you're making a single bet that is linked to two or more outcomes. All bets included in the parlay must win. A good example of this would be taking multiple money lines in one parlay bet. You can take the individual bets and place them as normal, but what a parlay allows you to do is place both bets as one and get better odds. For this particular bet, by pairing both money lines as a parlay, you now see a money line of minus 155. Much more enticing, right? The potential return is better, but the more teams and outcomes you add to the bet, the riskier the bet becomes. Make sure you use the FTN Bets parlay calculator to determine potential payouts. A teaser bet is similar to a parlay, but the spreads or totals of each bet are adjusted. When you make a teaser bet, you'll notice the spreads and totals are vastly different than what's normally offered. As with the parlay, all events in your bet must win in order for you to win. Don't be roped into the thought that teasers are an easy way to make money, as correctly predicting the outcome of multiple bets can be quite the challenge. A prop bet or proposition bet is a type of sports bet that's not directly related to the outcome of a single game. Examples of prop bets would be whether or not Patrick Mahomes will throw for over or under 300 yards in this week's game, or whether LeBron James would snag over or under 8.5 rebounds. Now, there are also futures bets, which aren't the same as prop bets, but are often thought of in the same light. A futures bet is true to its name. It's when you place a bet on an event that will occur in the future, such as whether Russell Wilson will win MVP next year or if the New York Yankees will win the World Series. A backdoor cover occurs when a favorite was covering the spread until a late flurry of scoring by their opponent ultimately drops the final score below the point spread. The favorite ultimately still wins the game, but not by enough points to cover what bettors had to put on it. The underdog lost the game, but stayed within the point spread, thus executing a successful backdoor cover. The total amount of money a bettor has to wager is their bankroll. This includes all sports books where the bettor has an account as well as cash dedicated for wagering. An amount equal to 1% of your bankroll. The actual dollar amount can be different for everyone, so when people discuss their plays, they'll often speak of how many units they'll place on that particular bet. Someone with a $100,000 bankroll will have a unit size of $1,000. If you have $100, your unit size is $1. The closing line refers to the number offered when wagering closes on any event. Numbers can move throughout the week, and one way many sports bettors track their progress is against what the line closes at. If you consistently get better numbers during the week than the final closing line number, you're making good bets at the right time. Also known as an underdog, this refers to a team that's not expected to win. In a typical two-way American-style line, the dog will always be the team listed with the plus in front of their money line. The larger the number after the plus sign, the lower the probability of that team winning. Edge is a term used to explain an advantage for a bettor over the sports book or vice versa. The difference between the actual probability of an event happening and the payout offered if it does occur is considered the edge. Even money is a wager placed that will return the exact amount as the wager in winnings. A plus 100 wager is considered even money. You bet $100 to profit and you win $100 if you're correct. The amount of money taken in by a sports book on all bets is the handle. This can refer to a particular wager, an event, or a group of games. Now, hedging is a strategy used by bettors to either reduce their risk or guarantee a profit from a bet. This can be done through the use of in-game wagering on a single event. It can be done if a line moves drastically, or it can be done with futures bets. The key is some event must occur that forces the line to move in order to offer an opportunity to lock in some profits or reduce the downside. A way to place a wager on a game that's taking place with live odds is live betting. As the game plays out, the probability of each team winning or losing changes based on variables like the score, time remaining, and availability of players. The odds are a reflection of a moment in time and will constantly adjust throughout the game, theoretically creating multiple new wagering opportunities based on the results of each play. This occurs when a sportsbook removes a bet from the board. This will often take place after injury news or a transaction with a particular team has taken place that would shift the odds in either direction. The term for the first point spread available for a particular game is the opening line. The opening line is usually the least accurate projection of a team's probability of winning and losing. Those who try to get the best number before any bets force the line to move will typically attack the opening line as soon as they are released by sportsbooks. Sharp money is when professional bettors with proven track records wager on a particular outcome. These bettors are sometimes known as sharps and may be part of a bigger betting syndicate. Sharp money coming in typically catches the attention of line makers. You often see lines adjusted in the direction of those sharp bets to make the number less appealing. These are often large bets, but wager size isn't what makes a bettor or his bets sharp. The skillfulness and track record of the bettor is what makes his or her bets sharp money.
What's going on, everybody? We're back here on the Qwan Show. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Jamie, for your picks. Make sure you guys are listen. Carlos, I know you've probably had a rough go since we've done a Last Word Cheetah, but somebody that you picked is due. I like the Evan McPherson play. I think these guys are kind of conservative, and they're going to take the points. You know, you see a lot of these coaches now opting to go for it on fourth down in some situations, but it's good to take the points. I like the Evan McPherson play. Patrick with a lot of props. You know, tail some of these guys. Jamie's not really a football guy. He's said it multiple times, but you know, if you're into college basketball, if you're into NBA stuff, make sure you tail Jamie. He's really good. Follow him on Twitter. I'll throw some Well, you saw the displays. I'll throw some @names and some links to some of these guys' work. But, thank you guys for calling in. We'll have a couple of more fan picks here as we go through the show. But now we're going to go head to head. Now I'm looking here. We're going to start with some running back matchups. We got Cam Akers. I didn't put together any Sony Michel projections, but I can throw some Sony Michel projections up in graphic form. We're going to go Cam Akers versus Joe Mixon. Now, I'm not too keen on running in this game. I think this is a tale. When I'm learning that when you're creating your betting strategy, you want to come up with a game script. And my game script is the running will be limited here. I think Cam Akers, I don't want to say his value is dropped, but it's a miraculous story. He did a great job coming back from an Achilles tear in less than, I think it's 6 months. That's amazing. That's stupendous. But I think those 2 fumbles in the Buccaneers game, you kind of saw Sony Michel get a lot of the reps versus the 49ers. Cam Akers, with these projections of 58.7 rush yards, 16.2 carries, he's going to have to break a few big plays early for them to feed him the ball more. I think Sony Michel has been reliable all year, and you want to go with your horses in that situation. It's smart, and it's great that they have a 3 running back rotation, which that's what running back has become in the National Football League. But you got to go with what's got you to the dance. And Sony Michel did a fabulous job this entire season. They picked him up. He wasn't on the roster at the start of the year. Sony Michel has done a great job stepping in for Cam Akers. Henderson went down, and I have a few Sony Michel props that we'll get to at the end of the show. The All Right Bet segment. Joe Mixon here. I think the Rams' rush defense buckled down last week. Debo has been a thorn in their side all year. And in the second half, you kind of saw them take Debo out the game. Elijah Mitchell didn't get off. I think Mixon's going to be used primarily in the passing game. And Pirine, I think that's going to be what works for Cincinnati. Getting the ball out quick. I'm not worried that, Mixon hits a couple because, you want your running backs to be involved in the game, and Zach Taylor has shown that he's going to stick with the run. I think, everybody and their mom was yelling at him in the Chiefs game, stop running the ball on 1st and 10. But you can't become one-dimensional, especially in the Super Bowl. If everybody's expecting you to pass the ball, then Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, they're going to be licking their chops. So you have to stay committed to the run game no matter how ineffective it may be. You have to commit to it to a certain extent. So I don't know if I like Mixon's rushing prop. I think he's going to be effective in the pass game, but there are some props here around 62.5, 60.5. He's going to be the guy that gets the brunt of the rushes. But if you look at projections for Joe Burrow and Matthew Stafford himself, they're both projected throwing the ball 40 times. Close to 40 times. And you go back to how many plays they run. They're running plays about 60 on offense. Both teams are around 61, 62 plays per game. So you're telling me Burrow's, throwing the ball 40 times and you're getting about 18 carries out of Joe Mixon. If they're committed to there are going to be some losses in there. I think the Rams have a good enough defense. Aaron Donald's going to eat. So the penetration is going to be there. Give or take a few yards. I don't know if Mixon hits his projections. I don't know if Akers hits his projections, but I think both of these backs will be effective in the passing game. More so Joe Mixon than Cam Akers because the 3 running back rotation for the Rams, I think Michel's going to get a brunt of the work. So that's the head-to-head at the running back position. Up next, we're going to let's go starting wide receiver. We're going to go starting wide receiver, so that means it's going to be Cooper Kupp versus Jamar Chase. So we got Kupp versus Chase. Chase is on the case. This is tough because the Rams run a cover 2. So cover 2 outside, man. Like, you're getting Chase, if he's lined up outside, they're running fades at certain points. And I've been watching a lot of Jalen Ramsey, and he's been playing really tight. Like, he's been playing really tight to the line of scrimmage, and they can run like corner routes right behind them. There's a hole on the outside. There are holes in the middle of the field. They don't run that Tampa 2 cover 2. They run a true cover 2. So they're gonna be like the Bengals run this slant and this skinny post behind it, and a lot of teams are throwing that in the cover 2 because this will backer, the strong backer, on the Rams, I think it's Reader or somebody. They're not disciplined. They'll hop outside, they'll hop inside, and the middle of the field, man, it's just gonna be open. So this Jamar Chase rushing prop seems low. I think there's an opportunity for him to break one. They throw this quick screen, and depending on who it is, one cut up the sideline, that could be it. So it's tough to call out right now. I'm going to stay away from Jamar Chase props because I'm very confident in Cooper Kupp props. Just because they scheme him open very well. They'll move him in the slot, and they'll run a levels combination that you have to choose between covering the deep guy or covering that intermediate route or that corner route or that dig route. And Van Jefferson's fast enough to take the top off the defense. Odell Beckham will take the top off the defense still. So Cooper Kupp's going to get his. I think that's a given. In certain situations, one-on-one, if Stafford sees it's one-on-one and Kupp's covered, he's probably going to go to Odell. But I still think 100 yards, Cooper Kupp is going to get his. If I could pull it up here, I'm not sure how many times Cooper Kupp has gone over. Let's see. The 49ers, 142. The Buccaneers, 183. The Cardinals, they play with a lot of short fields because of the defense. He had 61 yards. He had a touchdown. 49ers in the final regular season game, 118. Against the Ravens, 95. He's gone over 100 yards in all but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. So 7 out of, I think it's 20 games here. That's a high percentage. So if you're looking at something that is highly likely to happen, I can't call it a lock because stranger things have happened. But Cooper Kupp, receiving prop, 102.5, 104.5. If you can find something in that range, bet it. I like it. Up next, we're going to go backup wide receiver or the 2 wide receivers. Now, I think this is where the game is really going to show its head. I think Odell Beckham has finally found his footing. I think him and Stafford have great chemistry now. I think he and T. Higgins are the key. You look at the projections here. 8.5 targets for Odell, 5 catches. Receiving yard props, that seems low. He went over 100 yards for the first time since, I think it was 2019. So, first of all, we need to talk about throwing Baker Mayfield in jail. He belongs in the clink. I don't want to see any more Baker Mayfield commercials. Give those to Joe Burrow. We're going to toss Baker Mayfield aside. Baker needs to go, I don't know, throw the ball through the tire or do something different. Fill out an application. He's going to be selling real estate pretty soon. We need to get Baker Mayfield out of here. So it's a crime. Like, listen, I've never been an OBJ fan. I thought what he did in New York was great, but, the only time you really heard about OBJ was the one-handed catch, unless you're a Giants fan. I think there was a game where, Josh Norman really shut him down, and he scored a touchdown late, and I was like, oh, he's not really that great. But the man is a great route runner. He wins his one-on-ones a good majority of the time, and I can't say anything bad about him. His shout out to Odell Beckham Jr. He got his son to the Super Bowl by cutting up some film. I'm about to go cut up some film of myself and see if I could if anybody wants an old broken down arena cornerback. But that's a father right there. So last game against the 49ers, 113 yards, 9 receptions. He's gone 2 games without a touchdown. I think he scores this game. I've got some thinking to do, because I know he's going to win one of these matchups against Awuzie or Apple. I don't know how many touchdowns Stafford's going to throw for. I think two is where the line's set. I've seen mostly. So, if you like Odell scoring, Cooper Kupp's going to get his. Do you think he throws another touchdown to Kupp or Odell? Do you think he throws one to Michelle or, whatever you think it may be? I think Odell scores in this game just because the Bengals are going to have to find a way to stop Cooper Kupp initially, and then that's going to leave Odell one-on-one. So I don't know how they do it. T. Higgins, his matchup is very favorable. If you look at the targets here for T. Higgins, almost 9. 9 targets, almost 6 receptions for projected 78 yards. He's got some receiving props out there for 5 receptions, 5.5 receptions at DraftKings, and over 69 yards. A lot of people like T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins is going to do a lot of the dirty work because the Rams are going to be so focused on stopping Jamar Chase. So if you do bet a receiver prop for the Bengals, bet T. Higgins. I like both catches and receptions. I think he does have a favorable matchup. I'm going to see if I can pull up the wide receiver. Listen, man, if you go to FTN and you look at some of the tools that they have here, it's amazing. I found out about the wide receiver cornerback matchup tool, and it gives you basically a projection of the wide receivers versus the cornerbacks. I mean, it's not. Let's see here. For T. Higgins, he's gonna be matched up against Darius Williams. He has that is an advantage. T. Higgins is 6'4", 216. Darius Williams is 5'10", 180. He's gonna eat. And this is me. I was probably always the smallest DB on the field at all times. I had trouble with taller receivers. I had way more trouble with smaller receivers because they're quicker, shiftier. But I think Williams is going to have an issue with guarding T. Higgins. You got Eric Weddle, who he hasn't missed a step. He's played pretty well since he returned. But I think T. Higgins is probably going to eat really well. Go check out the wide receiver cornerback matchup tool. But if you're looking at, let's see, Eli Apple on Van Jefferson, it's favorable for Eli Apple. Odell Beckham versus Awuzie, it's favorable for Awuzie, but it's 40.3%. You got Chase versus Ramsey. They're about on the same as Beckham and Awuzie. T. Higgins, third favorable matchup. Tyler Boyd versus David Long Jr. Like, the Bengals have an opportunity. If Burrow has time, man, it might get nasty. Or I still think the Rams win, but it'll be close. And then we got Cooper Kupp versus Mike Hilton. Mike Hilton's gonna get eaten alive. But if you like wide receiver props, T. Higgins, Cooper Kupp, I don't and I like Odell's. I like Odell's side too. Quarterbacks. Now listen. My gut here is telling me it's a big game. It's an opportunity to prove to not only himself, but to the rest of the world that it was Detroit. It was the Lions. It's always been the Lions. Matthew Stafford projected 37.2 attempts. Joe Burrow, 36.8. So both around 37 passes will be attempted tomorrow. About 25 will be completed by both tomorrow. Burrow has a slight edge on the yards. Both about 2.1 touchdowns. Burrow's going to rush probably a little bit more frequently because he's going to be running for his life. Von Miller creates a lot of rush lanes for quarterbacks because his pursuit to the quarterback's pretty wide a lot of the time. But Aaron Donald, hopefully he's there to step up. Gaines in the middle. Leonard Floyd on the opposite side. The props are low for both of these quarterbacks. If the Bengals get down early, they're going to be throwing. If the Rams come out on fire, I don't know if Stafford gets to his attempts or his yards. Because, like I said, McVay becomes conservative. That's just what it is. I have an inkling that a lot of Stafford's yards are going to come from Kupp and yards after the catch. So you got to hope that Kupp breaks a few. It's just gonna. I'm leery of voting or betting on these quarterbacks props. Now I do have a Stafford MVP bet, which it is what it is. I got one MVP wrong. No way I can get both wrong. I just said it out loud. But this is the head-to-head for quarterbacks. I think with what Joe Burrow has done this season, great. Nothing bad to say. Stafford, same. I'm excited for both of these quarterbacks. Who can limit the turnovers? That's it. I think Burrow makes big throws. He typically takes care of the ball. Stafford, he's a little more turnover prone. But it pays off sometimes. So, I got a Stafford MVP bet. I might load up with some props to support my bet. One thing I'm also learning, you got to believe in your bet, man. Find things that correlate. Correlation is the key. If I think he's MVP, I might have to bet the over on the pass yards. He's projected for almost 300 pass yards. His props only around 272. If he's throwing the ball 38 times, that all relates. It correlates. So, what I would do is I would pick a side. If you want the Rams to win, Stafford MVP looks like it's it. Take the props over, touchdowns over. If you think the Bengals do it, it's all gonna fall on Joe Burrow. That's how you script your game. That's how you script your bets. We're gonna go to a few more callers here. We got Coach Slip. This was my coach, my defensive coordinator in Johnstown. We got Kiera from South Carolina. I had to help her a little bit on the bets, but she believes in her bet. We got DJ I-75 Mike from Michigan. I went to high school with him. He's if I went to high school with him, you already know he's betting. And 219 Schwab from Indiana. So here's some picks. You guys take it away.
All right, folks, we are live here on the Qwan Show. We're at the fan picks. He got me involved. From Western PA, we're looking Cincinnati. It's 48.5 right now. Take Cincy. Take the points. Why am I taking Cincy? I'm from Pittsburgh. Maybe it'll make the Steelers do better. Maybe it'll be because of Quan's old defensive backs coach, Coach Hawkins. His brother Artrell was a DB for Cincy back in the day. He ended up playing for Belichick too, but we won't hold that against him. But I'm telling you, folks, take Cincy, take the points. Stafford has a great story. God bless. I love him. However, you can't shake off the Detroit that much. But if it goes to overtime, I'll tell you right now, watch out for Stafford. The old sucker will do something big. Thank you, folks. This is Coach Lip. Qwan, great show. Thanks for the ad. God bless you, man.
Okay, so the Rams are going to win, and the final score is going to be Bengals 17, Rams 35. Matt Stafford is in beast mode, and he's going to get it. Go, Matt Stafford!
All right, y'all. So, me personally, y'all know who I'm picking. Like, you can tell from the glasses, you know who I'm picking. I'm riding with Stafford. He didn't earn his buff back. This is going to wrap up a tale in regards to the malarkey and fuckery that the Forge have disgraced Detroit with for so long. It's going to literally prove they had the talent to get a ring and pissed it off. So, I'm riding with the Detroit Rams for the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? That's who I'm picking. Probably gonna go money line with them. I saw something like I think it was over 48. I don't think it's gonna be a high scoring game or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm riding with. You know what I mean? I gotta go with my heart, and I cannot ride with somebody that be wearing party cardies at the game. I just can't do it. He made the comment that he make enough money where he shouldn't have fake diamonds, shouldn't have fake buffs. So call it an emotional pick, call it whatever you want. I'm definitely riding with Stafford. And I don't think they line gonna be able to handle the Rams. I don't think that O-line is ready. So, you know what I'm saying? That's just my pick. You know what I'm saying? You can tap in with me everywhere. DJI75 Mike. Literally everywhere except for Xbox Live. So that's YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all that and all that. So remember, you heard it here first. Maybe not first, but Bengals gonna lose. And they in Ohio. I'm from Michigan. We don't rock with Ohio. So yeah, they're gonna lose off that alone.
Sunday, I'm going Cincinnati straight up, and I like the under in this one too. My prediction for the final is going to be 23-20. I think now, if the Rams can start putting some points up on the board and make Cincinnati have to push it downfield, then that LA pass rush can really go to work. And while the Bengals were able to keep Burrow upright a little bit against the Chiefs, they only got to him once. They weren't dealing with Von Miller. They weren't dealing with Aaron Donald. That's going to be a really tough task for this Cincinnati offensive line that struggled mightily this entire postseason. Now, the way you attack this Rams defense, you don't give these guys a chance to tee off. Short stuff over the middle. I like Joe Mixon over. Last I saw was 3.5 receptions. I think that's a good prop, as well as Joe Burrow winning the MVP. I don't see anybody going off for something like 200 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns in this one. So Burrow would be the safe bet for MVP. I like Stafford to throw an interception. This Bengals defense has done an excellent job of containing offenses this entire postseason, just the way they've been able to be so multiple, and they've been able to get pressure with 3 guys. They've been able to limit opportunities down the field with different looks on the back end, whether it's rushing 3, rushing 4, dropping guys into coverage. They don't need to take a lot of chances. They don't put themselves at risk of a lot of mistakes. And Stafford does. I mean, let's be honest here. Stafford and taking care of the ball have not always gone hand in hand. So I think Cincinnati takes this one, and what a story that would be.
FTN Yoga is designed to bring together your mind and your body as you sweat out your favorite plays for the night. And we're going to work on some nightmare breathing techniques. It's 4th down and Jimmy Garoppolo needs to complete some passes downfield. So I want you to fold your arms across your body. Take a deep breath in and inhale. Exhale. Nightmare breath. Exhale. Nightmare breath. Now for the all the chips on the table pose, you want to make sure you get a good stretch in your back. You put your life savings on the Cowboys and they haven't won anything in ages. It was a bad bet. So you're going to get a wider base. You're going to put your hands on your thighs. You're going to slide down and you're going to watch the play call. What is Mike McCarthy doing? Oh, they're running the ball. They're running the ball. Oh God, oh God, oh God. You're going to come all the way back up. Hands out to your side. Above for bro, please. Deep breaths. Focus. They call the quarterback draw. Now you're going to interlock your fingers. And if things go bad, bring your arms out in front. All the way up to surrender cobra. Game's on the line. Can only get worse from here. I want you to interlock your fingers, and on the inhale, you're going to bring your hands up and behind your head. Exhale, hands behind your head. You got a good sweat, but surrender cobra signifies it's all over. You bet that big parlay. It was a mistake. It's fine. Take a deep breath in. Inhale. Exhale to surrender cobra 2. Your wife's probably going to leave you. FTN Yoga, the yoga system designed to strengthen your mind and your wallet. FTN Yoga is not a real product. Purchase FTN Diamond today.
Look, don't stress yourself out for next year's season. Get the FTN Diamond package. You get player projections. You get picks from the pros. You get the parlay calculator. You get the prop shop, you get access to that. Make sure you're doing yourself a service by investing in something that you like. The FTN Diamond package, buy it. Hell, get a subscription, buy it in one setting. If you're a big baller, shot caller, want to make some money, I highly recommend it. I use it, and it's gotten me. Listen, in the playoffs, I've called a lot. I've hit 2 first touchdowns. I called one that I missed betting, but I've hit 3. I hit Cooper Kupp last week. I hit Odell. I think it was against Arizona. And I called the Derrick Henry first touchdown versus the Bengals just to get a chance to bet it. But yeah, make sure you're use the tools that the pros use, man. All the time I see those guys hitting for 20,000, 45,000, 100K, 300K. I need that next year. That would significantly change my life. So, FTN, players, bettors, sharps, if you're watching, take me under your wing, please. Please. FTN Diamond Package. There you go. So, real quick, he's a gamer. Matthew Stafford. He's a gamer. Listen, I've been talking about Matthew Stafford for the last 6 years. There was a time where I hated Matthew Stafford. I thought he was turnover prone, made bad decisions, but he got some cooter in his life. Jim Bob Cooter. Once Matthew Stafford got some cooter in his life, he got rid of Scott Linehan. He relaxed on the turnovers. He protected the ball, and I think that's been the emphasis for this playoffs. He's protected the ball. He hasn't forced it downfield. Made a couple of errant throws. He forced one to Cooper Kupp that was just a little bit off. We had a dropped interception. Matthew Stafford for MVP is a bet that I have. The MVP odds, I got him at plus 104. He's been averaging 301.7 yards per game. 905 passing yards. He's 72 of 100 with a 72 percent completion percentage, that was easy math. 72 out of 100, 72%. Listen, everything needs to be done on that type of scale. 72 out of 100, I can do that math. 6 touchdowns, 1 interception. I think he has a big game tomorrow, and the Rams don't necessarily need him to, but it would secure a victory. If he starts out on fire, watch out, Cincinnati. So that's my pick. Matthew Stafford, MVP. Listen, if Stafford wins the MVP, I am going to bury with great vengeance and furious anger the Detroit Lions franchise. I'm telling you right now, the first video I release will be a scathing letter to the Ford family suggesting that they sell that team to anybody else. Look at this run. Listen to this run. 0-3 in Detroit in the playoffs. 1 year removed from the Detroit Lions. In your first playoff game, first of all, in the regular season, he was an MVP candidate to a certain extent. I think if they don't go on that 3-game skid, they beat Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, it's his trophy easily. They went on the 3-game skid. They lost in Green Bay. You can't really argue it. He had a run. Didn't finish strong enough. They lost to the 49ers. That didn't help either. But for the majority of the year, he was up there. First game, they smoked the Cardinals. No turnovers. 1-3 in the playoffs. Next game, he retired the greatest quarterback of all time on his back foot. The whole team crumbled around him. A Cam Akers fumble that would have sealed the game in the first half. If Cam Akers doesn't fumble and they run the ball in, or McVay gets his head out of his ass and puts the ball in Stafford's hands on the goal line, game over. We don't even talk about the Buccaneers coming back. Retires Tom Brady. The 49ers. McVay hadn't beaten them. They pushed all these chips into the center of the table for a quarterback that can get them over the hump. Jared Goff is some ass. And I mean that in the most disrespectful way possible. I'm talking about some ass. Listen, there's ass and then there's some ass. There's a big distinction. You know, this is, if you see ass, you're like, oh wow, that's ass. But if he's some ass, it's like, oh my, he's some ass. There's an emphasis on being some ass. It's a disgusting amount of ass. And Jared Goff is that. Now I can't say I watch every Matthew Stafford throw because there were some games that were out of control. But I said this in a video. As long as he was quarterback, they had a shot. I watched 1, maybe 2 Lions games this year. I watched the Rams versus the Lions, and I can't recall what the other one was. I can't watch the Detroit Lions football team as long as Jared Goff is the quarterback. I always watched when Matthew Stafford was the quarterback. If he comes out, he plays a Matthew Stafford-like game, there can be a turnover. He has a career, like his career touchdown to interception ratio is about 2.1, which is, I would like 2 touchdowns to 1. The only one that's probably like, that doesn't seem horrible. Aaron Rodgers is the only one I can think of off the top of my head that's like 5-1. Brett Favre, I think, is 1-1. Brett Favre is a Hall of Famer. Let me look this up. Brett Favre touchdown to interception ratio. 1.57. That's horrible. For every touchdown, there's an interception and a half. So don't talk to me about turnovers. Stafford played for Detroit. Listen, man, I am not kidding you when I say I saw Golden Tate run untouched against the Steelers and just fumble the ball. There have been so many. Calvin Johnson on the goal line in Seattle gets the ball punched out. The play in Dallas where they picked up the flag. There have been a lot of things around this man that have done him in. But as a quarterback playing the position, he is above average, and this game is his chance to show that he's been great this entire time, and it's been the Lions, which is what every Lions fan has echoed. Every Lions fan with a brain has echoed since the beginning of time. They wasted Barry Sanders. They wasted Calvin Johnson. They wasted Matthew Stafford. I got MVP odds at plus 104. I'm going to be cheering. I hope you're cheering. These are my bets for the I Bet segment. Hashtag I Bet. Stafford MVP plus 104. We got first touchdown score, jersey number, over 23.5. I got first touchdown, Sony Michel. And I got the last digit of the score, Rams 0, Bengals 0. I'm hoping for 30-10. I'm hoping for 30-20. I need that bet so bad. Things are going bad. Things are going bad, folks. I need that one. Listen, I need you guys to support me. We got Qwan Show t-shirts on sale. I'll drop a link here in the discussion or in the comment section. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe. This has been the Super Bowl edition of the Qwan Show. Thank you. If you stopped in, if you watched for 1 second, or if you watched for the entire duration, I thank you. I appreciate you. Let's do this again. Tomorrow on the show, in some capacity, there will be a show. It might not be an hour. It might not be 30 minutes. There will be a Qwan Show tomorrow. We're going to recap the Super Bowl. We're going to talk about my first year in betting. And we're going to talk about Stafford MVP. Did he win it? Did he not win it? We're going to talk about my regular season Stafford MVP bet. We're going to talk about everything NFL, as I'll probably take the week to wrap up the entire season. We're going to go over my pick aside for team totals and wins. We're going to go through our final betters.
All right, so I'm really looking at a long shot prop here in this game. I like Cam Akers MVP. You could find like a 35-1, I think, at DraftKings. I know the line of scrimmage talk is, all about the Rams D-line versus the Bengals O-line in this game. But really, every time you watch a Bengals game, especially during this run, you could just see that they really just get burned on the ground. They won that Chiefs game because it was a cat and mouse game between, Andy Reid, his willingness to run the ball because they played, 3 down linemen, 8 in coverage in the second half, and he just wouldn't do it. And over the last 7 weeks, the Bengals have just been horrible against the run. In the Titans game, their DC has been really good at adjusting and game planning week to week for the Bengals. But again, in the Titans game, a team that they knew they had to stop the run against, they had 6 down linemen, I think, on like 25 plays. Like, that's how bad they are. That's how much they needed to adjust just to stop the run. Had 5 down linemen multiple times, had 8 in the box almost all game. I don't expect that here. And one thing we know about Sean McVay is that guy loves to run the ball. He's got that famous wide zone scheme. And, in this game, if the Bengals don't adjust to stop it, I think Sean McVay is just going to run it and run it, especially with the lead. So we also know the rotation could be tricky for running backs here. But the value of 35-1, we know Sean McVay loves Cam Akers, and 24 carries against the Buccaneers. That came down a little bit last game, but the 49ers have a really good run defense also, just like the Bucs. So I think in 35-1 on a non-quarterback, I can't see this MVP being anybody else really if it's not Barrow or Matt Stafford. So that's my favorite play. I like Cam Akers in this game because I pretty much expect the Rams to win this game.
Look, hey, if you're watching this, all right, you're thinking about gambling, you're thinking about taking that 401k out, or thinking about pawning your wife's engagement ring, and making some money. I got 3 words for you. Gotta go, Joe. Joe Burrow, 7-0 in postseason games since college. You know what I'm saying? This guy is a generational talent. He definitely is one of them guys that the lights are not too bright for. You got the 1-2 combo with him and Jamar Chase, and I'm pretty sure Jalen Ramsey is gonna be shadowing Chase, but Chase showed all year that he a baller once he places on the football. And I just feel like going against a Matthew Stafford led team is like, I feel like if you're not going to believe in Matthew Stafford, this is the time to like really not believe in him. And as a Bears fan, and understanding that when Matthew Stafford came to Soldier Field, it was always a W. I got to go with Joe. So appreciate everybody out there in TV land. Put your money, take Bengals money line. If you're really feeling froggy, take Joe Burrow MVP. That's what I'm doing. Super Bowls, if I think a team going to win, I'm trying to win some money on that money line, I'll take their quarterback, get a little bit more money for it. So last I saw, I think Bengals like minus 165 money line. Joe Burrow's like plus 220. So I'm sorry, Bengals are plus 165, and Burrow are plus 220. So take the points or take Joe Burrow over 10.5 passing yards, over 10.5 rushing yards. Gotta go, Joe.
Super Bowl prediction from Mad Lab, giving the Qwan Show and the listeners the edge that they need outside of Qwan, of course. Qwan is going to give you all the edges that you need. I'm going to say I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to go a little out in the cuff here. A lot of people think it's going to be closer than I think it's going to be. I'm going to go 31-17, the Rams. I just think that I think Joe Burrow is a fine quarterback. I think the matchup, the team with Burrow and Chase is spectacular, especially for years to come. I just don't think that they are going to be able to sustain and nullify that defensive front of the Rams. I don't think they're going to give them enough time. I think that pocket's going to crash quick. I think that they're missing that one piece, like a Giovanni Bernard, that they're going to have to dump that ball out. He's going to have his spots where he's going to have time, and he probably will make some plays, but I just see that pocket crashing a little bit too much. I think he's going to get beat up. I honestly do. I think he's going to get beat up in there. And I'm saying 31-17. Rams win the Super Bowl, and me and Qwan, I guess he's going to drag me to a parade, and we're going to have to do some drinking.
Jamar Chase receptions under 5.5 plus 125. I know. Jamar Chase is probably might be the best rookie receiver we've seen in a long time, right? I think the Rams defense is just going to take him. I don't think they're going to stop him. Like, I think he can still, he's going to get at least a catch for 25, 30-ish yards. But I think it's reasonable that they keep him under 6 catches. And at plus money, plus 125, I think it's worth a bet. And Burrow likes to spray the board a little bit. They got other guys that can catch the ball too. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. They like to throw the running backs a little bit. I think people are going to be. I think all the Jamar Chase bets from like at least the public and people just firing away wanting to bet on Sunday are going to be all overs. So like his receiving yards now sitting at 82.5. I like under. Longest reception, 27.5. I would lean under there too. And first reception under 11.5 is also worth a bet. So, I mean, I think like I'm kind of on an island here, I guess you could say, but I played every single Jamar Chase under that you could play. I bet him he's minus 110 both ways to score. I took no at minus 110. So like that's kind of where I'm at on the Bengals guys. Look, I think when you're doing props, you have to kind of look at how you think the game is going to evolve, right? Like I think the Rams are going to win, and I've added some money line on the Rams. I'll probably add more before Sunday, but I see like long sustained drives by the Rams. That's going to keep Burrow on the sideline, right? So I think you're going to see a lot of Cooper Kupp short passes, a lot of Odell short passes, a lot of, just kind of setting up for 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3 type plays, moving the chains. I think you're going to, the Rams game plan should just be keep Burrow on the sideline as long as you can. And the Rams have like every team kind of wants to do that, but like the Rams have the exact personnel to do that. So I'm looking at like all these Jamar Chase unders. I'm probably going to end up adding some Burrow unders too. I think the Rams defense is just I don't see how you're going to have a ton of success. Like I respect the hell out of Burrow. Like I don't think he's going to be shut out or something, but I just don't think you're going to see, like these video game numbers that you've seen in previous games with like Burrow and these receivers. I think the Rams are equipped. I think this is a really bad matchup for the Bengals. And let's be honest here with the Bengals too, right? They barely escaped beating the Raiders the first game. Burrow got sacked 9 times against the Titans, and it took like a serious Tannehill meltdown for them to lose that game. And then it took a big time, like absurd Chiefs meltdown to lose that game. So I can't, like, I'm not trying to like hate on the Bengals or call them frauds or something, but let's be honest, like it's been a lot of fortune for them to get here. And I just think like they've met their match. I think like they're just overpowered here pretty much everywhere. And I'm just, as far as props, I'm kind of looking at more Rams player overs and more Bengals player unders. I like the Chase unders a lot. Maybe maybe I'm dead wrong, and he's just going to obliterate Ramsey or whoever comes at him, and whatever. I'll take it on the chin. But I think that's just kind of the way you have to attack this. If you like the Rams to win the game, and I do. So